Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today. My name is Laura Stranks and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. I've been a demonstrator for almost 10 years now. If you haven't watched before, thanks for joining us. The channel that you're watching is Creative Gems and I'd love you to subscribe if you haven't already done so. And if you're joining me again, if you've watched me before, thanks for coming back. Just one important thing, the PDF for all my cards are in this Laura's Craft Room Tips and Tutorials group. If you wish to join the group for the tutorials, you just have to request to join. There are two questions you need to answer, one why you wish to join the group and the other that you agree to the rules. If you don't see the questions on the device you're on, try joining from a different device. So if you're on your phone, sometimes the questions don't appear on the phone. Just try maybe your iPad or a PC. They will come up eventually. That's about it. I'm not going to drabble on with all my other info just at the moment. I'm going to do this, which I've done quite a while ago. Almost 3 years I think I did this waterfall card. There's been lots of different ones around. This is my version, and I have changed a few things from the original one I did years ago, so hopefully you'll like what I've got. This one here, it's got your waterfall feature like so, and then this bit here I just have to wiggle a little bit because I've put some mats there, but it's not too bad to open and close once you've done it a few times. And I've just put some strips of DSP inside. This is my favourite DSP at the moment, the Traditions of Christmas I think it's called. The one I'm doing now is in the what's it called, this one here. I did have the stamp set. Actually, I'll have a look at the paper for you. It is called Peaceful Garden. I knew I'd remember it eventually. Peaceful Garden is the DSP, and the stamp set and dies that go with it are Peace on Earth. I've used some of the stamp sets here, but I've also used this little image out of here and also the Merry Christmas. I'll show you how it works in a minute. We'll put it all together and then you'll see. I've got my, put that aside, we'll put that up there. I've got my measurements here, as I usually do, typed up for you. So you can either take a screenshot of that, or these measurements will be in the description box of today's video. They'll also, the full PDF with all the instructions and photos will be in the PDF in my Laura's Craft Room Tips and Tutorials group. So, but you can take a screenshot if you wish. I'll go through the pieces that you will need. I haven't glued everything together yet. I'll just show you as we go, and the scoring and everything. This is my main base. It's in Secret C. It's 11.5 by 4 1/8. And then we have a front mat, which is in the cloud cover. These two colours go lovely together, and the colours in the paper as well. It measures 5.5 by 3 7/8. That's that one. And then the DSP is 5 1/4 by 3 5/8. That's that one. And my inside basic white, I've done a little bit different. The other one I had 3/4 inch strips, which were a little bit wide, but then I didn't put a greeting. So I put a greeting inside this one. These are 1/2 inch. The white itself is 5.5 by 3 7/8, and the strips are 5.5 by 1/2 inch. And there's two of those. I've already stuck those together. My main waterfall strip, which is in the Secret C, it is 9 by 2. It's the same colour as the base. And my waterfall mats are the same colour as the base. I've got 4 of those. I have adhered 3 together. That's these here. 2 by 2, 4 of. I'm still going to stick this one down just to show you how to do that, which you probably already know how to do that. And then my second mat is the same as the front mats, which is the cloud cover. They're 1 3/4 by 1 3/4, and there's 4 of those, which are the little blue ones in amongst there. And this one here, which, excuse me, I'm still going to stick that one down. Excuse me. The top mat are basic white, 1 5/8 by 1 5/8, and there's 4 of those. This one here I'm still going to stick. I cut with the decal circle one of the little doves out of the paper for one of my mats, and then I've got a Merry Christmas and Peace and Joy, which I got from, I just masked up the separate words. I didn't use the love one. I used those two, and then the Merry Christmas out of this set here, which I showed you before. So I've got those to put in the centre. You can decorate the centre however you like. You could just put DSP in the centre if you wish. I've done them all a little bit different. We'll put those together shortly. My cross arm, which is this piece here, it's the same as the matte colour, which is the cloud cover. It's 3 7/8 by 1 inch, and then the DSP on that is 3 5/8 by 3/4. I'm just going to show you how to do, when the waterfall comes up and down, it was catching on part of this, but I'll show you how I think I can fix that. And then the lower mat, which is this piece here, when you pull this down, it's this piece in here, which that's going in there. The mat itself in cloud cover, 3 3/4 by 1 3/4, and the DSP is 3 5/8 by 1 5/8. So that's that one there. It's catching. I'll show you how it works. When you push that, I had to wriggle it a little bit, but I think if I lift this a little bit, I'll curl it a little bit, it might help. But all you've got to do is wriggle it to start. It doesn't take too much to wiggle. And some embellishments to decorate. So that's all your pieces, and we shall get started. I've got my PDF here so I can tell you all the scoring. So we'll start with this one. I've already scored this one. It's just in half on the long side at 5 3/4, which is there. Don't cut, 5 3/4, and you can fold and burnish that. Make sure it's nice and even all the way around. My friend, my crafting buddy, she got me a gift the other day, and it's this Teflon set. There's all of these that go in it. When you, I don't know if anyone notices, when you use your normal bone folder, it leaves a shiny mark on your cardstock. These do not. They are so good, and they burnish really well. Put those back away. Do it both ways, and you can see how flat it sits down. It doesn't bubble up again. So I love my Teflon bone folder. Well, it's not a bone folder, it's a Teflon folder. So that's that piece, and then your scoring on your waterfall piece is 2 inches on the long side at the top, and you're going 2 inches, 2 3/4 inches, 3 1/2, and 4 1/4. So that's all the scoring you'll need. We can put that away. Now you're going to fold them all into mountain folds, like so. You can just burnish those as well, just to give them a nice flat finish. You will need, you could do it a different way. The one I did years ago, I cut 2 little 1-inch circles and put them at the bottom of this like a pulley tab. If you just straddle the circle, you glue the 2 together over the bottom of this tab, and then make a little pulley thing for yourself. Or it doesn't have to be a circle, it can be anything down the bottom here. But what I'm using is my punch, my Delightful Tag Topper punch, which is, I think, retired. I'm not even sure if there is one that's current at the moment, but if you have got a tag topper, you could use that. So I'm going to pop that in there. Hopefully the desk won't move too much. We might just open it up. That might help to to punch it. So you're punching the longest piece up where these score lines are. Then you've got a little short piece up here. You want this long edge here, and you're going to punch the end of that, or that's where you can put a little pulley tab. You could just punch a little hole in the bottom here and thread some ribbon through without having a pulley tab. There's quite a few different ideas of how to create your pulley at the bottom, so you could try something different. Put all that out of the road. Now we'll finish putting, we've done those two, we'll finish putting this one together here, just with a little bit of liquid glue is fine. Most of the card where the tabs are going, where all of these little squares are going on, are put on with tear and tape, because it gives you a lot more strength when you're pulling it up and down. It's not going to come apart for you. So we'll put that one on. That's how you do the 4 of those that you've already cut. And glue them all together. I've got a bigger dark border and then just a fine blue border. You could do those in different sizes if you wish. This is 2 inches wide, so I've made my back one here 2 inches wide as well, and then you can graduate them down from that. So tear and tape, which I didn't get out, but I have it just here. Now with the long edge at the back here, you're going to work on the front, so you can flap that up like that to make it a little bit more workable on. Now under each score line here, you're going to put a strip of just under the score line, not on it, directly underneath, a piece on 3 of the score lines across underneath the score lines, 1 of each. We'll burnish those again in a minute, just the 3. And then the bottom one, you're going to, because the bottom tag, whichever one I use, it's going to stick completely on here. So I'm going to put 3 lots of tear and tape across this one. 3 is quite sufficient to hold it down, unless you wanted to use liquid glue on this. But I find while I've got the tape here, it's easy to put some along there. And we're going to start at the bottom. So I've got 3 on there, on that one. That's all the tape you'll need for now. There is a little bit later. I'm burnishing all that tape so it's stuck down nicely onto the card. And then you're going to start at the bottom. So you'll want these bottom 3 and choose whichever decoration piece you want at the bottom. We can take those 3 off. I think I was going to put Merry Christmas at the top. That'll be my top one. Then those 2, and I'll put my little bird at the bottom around that way. So this here, it'll fit exactly in that square just under the score line. If you put it on the score line, it's not going to let you pull it backwards and forwards. So just a fraction under, and stick that one on there first. Do the bottom one first. Then we'll take this one off, the next one up. I think I'll do Peace and Joy. And this one will go here on the next piece of tear and tape, fitting across that way, and nice and even on your sides there. Push that down. You'll see how it works in a minute. Until you get the mechanism across, it's really hard to explain how it's going to work. And then we'll do Peace on this one. It's very windy outside today. I can hear the trees. We've got banana trees down the fence on the neighbour's property here, and they make a lot of noise when it gets windy with the leaves. And that's my top one. It's going on there, right at the top, covering the tear and tape. So I've got those. You'll see how that works in a sec. So we shall go back to this piece. We could have done this piece first, but it doesn't matter what order you do it in. That's going onto there. I'll use my seal for this one. I do like my seal lately. It's been working nicely. I shouldn't say that because then it will go wrong for me. But all being well, it's gone well. So I'm just putting, this is the front mat that goes underneath the whole pulley thing, and then we can put that onto the front. This is a tent fold. I don't often do tent fold cards, so this is a little bit different, but it looks quite nice. I'm not sure if this is directional. I like my leaves going up that way, not down that way. So we'll put this onto the front first, nice and even, and then this is going to sit in the middle. I'll put my ribbon on last. So you'll need this piece here next. We'll do that other piece last, and it's going to sit in behind here, behind this bottom one. So if you put it in there, flap it over and work out so it's centered both ways. And all you're going, what I do, where's my pencil, sort of halfway, I'm going to mark there and there because that's where my glue is going to go. It's easier if you put the glue on this than trying to work it out where you don't want it out over the edges of that arm piece. So we'll just put some glue in there. Keep it inside your pencil lines, and then make sure it's the pattern piece is face down that way, because then when you do it this way, it's the right way up. So I'm going to center that. I'll put it back where the pencil lines are and make sure it's pretty even on both sides so that when you put it on your card base, it's sort of centered on the card base. I'll lift it up and make sure that's fairly even. If you use liquid glue on that, it's much easier to wiggle it around and put it in the right spot. So that goes on there, like so. And then this whole thing is going to go down onto the card base, but we only want it on these ends. So I'm going to put a couple of strips of tear and tape on that as well. So just on these ends. Actually, I think I put 2 strips on the last one, just to make sure it holds nicely. As long as it doesn't come right over to the waterfall part. So 2 on that side and 2 on this side. I did watch my video back that I did a few years, it's probably 3 years ago since I've done this one, and I watched my video back to see how I could boost it up a bit, and I think I had a few mistakes in the first video, and I was pretty green at doing videos back then, so it's quite funny how you change over the years with what you do. You get a little bit more confident. So now you can take the backs off these, all of them. Fairly quick card once you get all your pieces cut. Now I'm trying to center it. I've got a bit of a gap up here and down here as well, and it's going to line up with the mat on the sides as well, and just press that down like so, and that will hold it. And then this here, when you pull, it's a little bit stiff to start with. What I did, I tried to pull this up a little bit. Just give it a pull. Don't lift it off altogether. Just give it a stretch so that's not sitting exactly flat. We'll pull that back down, and this piece is going on here. So you can move it down. So you've got the 1/8 inch border all the way around on that piece. We're almost done. price of paper and cardstock and everything, embellishments, has all gone up from years ago to what it is now as well. Notice the difference in. I do a lot of workshops and classes, so it sort of compensates. Well, I better make sure that sets first before I go pulling at it. I'll just leave that sit for a minute. If you want to here, you could just put DSP on, that way you wouldn't have that ridge there. I think the one I did years ago, I didn't have that. I had just, what I did was just wiggle it underneath that until it goes up and down a few times. It goes like that. And then we've got some ribbon to put on the bottom, on the pulley here. I've chosen, there is a blue ribbon that goes with this set. It's a little bit thick and it's got little like a lacy edge on it, but I thought it was a bit thick for this, so I'm just going to use, this is one of the in colour ribbons. It's just faux linen ribbon in cloud cover. So we'll just get a little piece of that off. That's my other card. And I've always, I could never remember which way to, when you put it through a hole, if you go front to back. I always go front to back to thread it through. That way your loop comes at the front. So we'll push that through. Trying to keep it nice and straight. And then loop those through there. I thought the contrast on this went better with the dark blue at the sides. Straighten all that up before you pull it through, like so. We do one at a time. Doesn't always end up the best of, I think some of the ribbons are a little bit thick. If you can get a really fine one, just poke that up in there. Not too bad. Just get it off that. That's better. And then I'm going to, I did a different thing. I did the little pointy banner type thing for that one. We'll just cut these on a slant. You don't want them too long because they will fold in under the card in the envelope. It's just something to hold on to pull it. And there we go. And just wiggle that first one. Then the inside piece, see, I go to open it this way because that's what I'm used to. We'll put that one inside and that finishes our card. Nice and quick. I think my first video I got a little bit confusing with some of the assembly. I watched it and I thought, why did I do that? Why did I do that? And when I made the sample one this morning, before I started this, it was so much easier the second time round. You could pick up where you went wrong the first time. Plus I didn't have my sample from way back then. I've had to recreate a new sample one. So all done. That's it from me. Both new papers from the mini. One's that's in the mini catalogue and this one is online. Beautiful papers. I think it's online. I'm not sure now. No, it's in the mini. Sorry, beg your pardon. It's in the mini catalogue. So that's my waterfall card. Goes right through and just give that bottom bit a bit of a wiggle. Otherwise, you could leave this blank or just put a piece of DSP on there without the border. I like the border, and it doesn't take much to push it back up like so. That's it from me. I hope you enjoyed that, and I shall catch you all next Monday at 9 AM. Have a lovely week. Bye for now.